Welcome to the Family History Buff channel. On today's video, I will help you discover your roots and find your ancestors on FamilySearch for free, right in your own home. Hello, my name is Murry Dalton, your family history buff. Thanks for viewing. This is the first of many videos you will find on our channel to help you find and connect to your ancestors. Don't miss out. You will want to subscribe to our channel. To stay alerted of new training videos, you can subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button shown on this screen on the bottom right-hand corner. In this first video, I will show you how to discover your roots and find your ancestors on FamilySearch, and it's all for free. FamilySearch will bring to life your family's history by exploring the lives of all those who came before you. All you may ask yourself, what exactly is FamilySearch? FamilySearch is a non-profit organization and a website offering genealogical records, education, and software. FamilySearch is a free service that helps you discover your ancestors, organize your ancestors on a pedigree chart, and record your family history online. For over 100 years, FamilySearch and its predecessors have been actively gathering, preserving, and sharing genealogical records worldwide. Millions of people have been able to find and discover their own ancestors on FamilySearch. Hopefully, I can help you find yours. FamilySearch provides free tools you can use to preserve and share your family story. FamilySearch has a collection of billions and billions of records. You can find your family, you can piece together your ancestors' history and bring their stories to life. And by exploring the lives of those that came before you, you can discover yourself. Okay, let's get started and see if we can find your ancestors on FamilySearch. To find out if your family history is online, you first need to sign in to FamilySearch. Type in your browser, FamilySearch.org. Now that we are there, you will see a prompt to either sign in or create account. People who have an LDS account sign in to FamilySearch.org using the username and password of your church account. If you don't have an LDS account, no problem. All you need to do is just create a new free account. Let's assume you don't have an account. Go ahead and click on Create Account. Now go ahead and put in your name and birth date. Click on Male or Female. In this box right here, you only click on this if you're an LDS member. Otherwise, just leave it blank. And then go ahead and follow the instructions to set up the rest of your account. Now note, FamilySearch does have age limits on who can have an account. You must be at least 13 years old to create an account. Children ages 8 to 12 can create an account with parental permission. Also, I recommend that each person register using a separate email address or mobile phone number to make it easier to recover a forgotten username or password. Now, if you already have an account or just set up an account, click on Sign In. Next, type in your username and password. If you have forgotten your username or password, just follow the instructions on the screen where it says Forgot Username and Password. Also, if you want to stay signed in to your account, you have an option here where you can click on this box and it will keep you signed in for 2 weeks. Now go ahead and click on Sign In. Once you have successfully entered FamilySearch, go ahead and click on the family tree icon that you see on the top left of your screen. And on the drop-down options, click on Tree. On this screen, you may first find your name and that you connect to your ancestors. Wow, as you can see, you have made a connection already. In this case, let's assume your name is James Smiley, as shown in this record. This is a record of my wife's great-great-grandfather, and I'm using it as an example of what you might see to view your own record. It shows a record of you, it shows a record of your parents, and it shows a record of your grandparents. And when you click here, it shows a record of your great-grandparents and your great-great-grandparents, and so on. And it shows you are connected to your ancestors. In this case, congratulations, you have discovered your ancestors. Now, some people get upset when they cannot connect to their ancestors, and their own name isn't even listed on FamilySearch. Or some may see their own name, but their ancestors' names aren't being shown in FamilySearch. Example, since we are assuming your name is James Smiley, as shown in this record, it shows his wife's name is Nancy Agnes Covert, but her father and mother aren't showing, and you're wondering why. I see 3 different scenarios. Number 1, you find your name and you are connected to all of your ancestors. Number 2, you find your name, but you are not connected to any of your ancestors. And number 3, you don't even find your own name on FamilySearch. So now I ask you to please follow my steps, and this should help resolve any issues you may have on finding your missing ancestors on FamilySearch. Now let's assume your name is James Edward Birch. This is one of my wife's great-great-grandfathers, and I'm using his name just as an example of where you need to place your own name. Go ahead and add your own name here in place of where it shows James Edward Birch. Next, you will want to add your parents' names from scratch by clicking on Add Your Father, and then you will add your mother to create new records. Let me show you how to do this. Now, where you see a plus sign, Add Father, and a plus sign, Add Mother, this is where you will add your father and your mother's names. Okay, go ahead and click on Add Father now. You first will see 2 choices to add by name or by ID number. The ID number is to only see if your father is already listed in FamilySearch. I will cover that in a moment. Now let's assume that your father's name is George Birch, and I'm using this name based on the son that I'm using, James Edward Birch. So let's assume that the father's name is George Birch, and I put male, and I'm putting deceased, and I'm going to put approximate birth date, 1710, and I'm going to put he was born in England. And like I mentioned, it doesn't need to be exact dates and places, as we are only searching to see if he is already listed in FamilySearch. And I don't know the death date or the death place. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on Next. Now, if a record shows, and this is your father's record, go ahead and click on Match, and you are now connected to your father. In this case, it has a possible record, George Birch here, born September 1709 in England, is a match. If that is a match, that is your father, you would go ahead and add Match, and then he would be listed as your father. If that is not your father, then over here it states, shows the information that you have entered, George Birch, 1710, and it says if none of these matches are a correct match, select the Create Person button, which then you would go ahead and click on Create. Or when you click Next, and this message comes up where it states, Search was unable to find any possible matches. you may now create this person in FamilySearch. In this case, this is the other scenario that would pull up. You just want to go ahead and create person, and your father's name again will show up right up here, and your mother's name the same. Now once you have added the father, you want to go ahead and do the same thing to add your mother. Note, for adding information to your father's or mother's or ancestors' records, we will be covering that on a separate video. Now let's cover the ID choice. We covered by name, and now we're going to cover the choice of by ID number. The ID number choice is only used if your father is deceased and you know his ID number for his personal record that is already listed in FamilySearch. In this case, if you do know his personal ID number, go ahead and add it now. Click Next and your father's record will appear. If this is your father's record, go ahead and click on Add Match, and you are now connected to your father, and he is listed as your father on Family Tree. The key is adding information about your living relatives until you can connect to the profile for a deceased ancestor. Once you have entered in the information for your living or deceased parents, you are ready to connect to your ancestors. In most cases, when you put your parents and then you put your grandparents, FamilySearch will automatically connect. If they are listed on FamilySearch, it will automatically connect you to your ancestors. That's one of the most amazing things about FamilySearch. And all of a sudden you will see 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 generations that are instantly appearing, showing who your great-great-grandparents are. And it will list their names, their birth dates, and everything about them. That's one of the most amazing things I have ever seen. If you still can't connect to deceased relatives, you will need to add the father and the mother information of your parents. So in this case, let's assume that this son here, James Edward Birch, added his father, James Edward Birch, and you are not connected yet on Family Tree. It hasn't connected you. Then you will need to go and add the information on James Edward Birch's parents. So then you would add James Edward Birch's father and his mother, and then you would follow the previous instructions that we have just went over by adding father and mother. Once you have added those, it should maybe connect to your ancestors. If it is not adding any of them at that point, then it will show just a blank add father and add mother back up over on this side, and you just need to keep doing that, going back in time until eventually you will connect to all of your ancestors. Sometimes it takes a little bit of patience, but eventually you will connect, at least if they are listed in there. And I have found many, many times people connecting to their ancestors. Now I want to show you an example of what a pedigree chart will look like once you have been connected to all of your ancestors. This is a pedigree chart from my grandfather, Edward Meeks Dalton, married to Zilpha Lewis. And right now on this chart it shows his father and his grandfather. Now to show you how this works, I'm going to click on his grandfather and show you what information it is pulled up here. And I'm just going to keep going back. Now here is from his grandfather, Edward Dalton, and it's going back to John Dalton Jr., John Dalton Sr. Okay, and then I'm going to click on this, and it's going to bring up even more people from John Dalton Sr. now. It's going to go to Thomas Dalton, James Dalton. We're looking at 1713, and we're going to click on this, and it's going to, you can keep going back further. James Armand Dalton, James Dalton, born in 1650. And it's going to click on even further. Walter Dalton, born 1603. Walter Dalton II, born in 1581. And then it's going to go to Walter Dalton, 1552. Roger Dalton, 1531. And it's going to keep going back. Here's Sir Roger Dalton, 1469. And going back further and further. And keeps going further. I think on mine it goes back 27 generations going back that I have been able to find. And you can see right there, that's the point where it's not going back any further. My record goes back to a John Dalton, born in 1010. So that's one of the exciting things. And if you are able to connect, you have these possibilities as well of finding many of your ancestors going way, way back. FamilySearch Family Tree is a shared public tree. Information about deceased relatives can only be seen by anyone who searches for that relative on FamilySearch. To protect privacy, any information about living people on the family tree can only be seen by the person who entered it in his or her private space. As an example, I entered my wife and children on Family Tree, but no one else can see the information I entered because they are all living. Information added to a living relative's profile will only become public after he or she is marked as deceased. At that time, duplicate profiles may appear and can be merged to group that person's information into one shared profile. That means if any other family members want to see a family member who is living on their family tree, they will have to enter these living members on their own family tree. And hopefully this video helped you to be able to connect to your ancestors. I hope you enjoyed this video presentation. If you enjoyed my first presentation, please subscribe to this channel, Family History Buff. It's the best way to follow me. I have more videos for you that will go through every aspect of helping you with your family tree on FamilySearch and other ways to help you find your ancestors. Subscribing is the best way to follow me, so please subscribe now. Well, now that you are hopefully connected to your ancestors, you will want to watch video number 2 titled How to View and Explore Your Ancestors on Your Family Tree in FamilySearch. See you on video number 2, Family History Buff.